Hello and welcome back to Sunday Spotlight. I'm here with my trusty sleeping companion Pumpkin, and today we're going to take a closer look at the ACAVALLO Arena Safety Stirrups. So if you're interested to see what's inside the box, see them up close and personal and in the flesh, or so to speak, then today's the day. So sit back, make yourself a cup of tea and hopefully enjoy. So first of all, before we look particularly at these, let's just have a quick talk about what a safety stirrup is. So a safety stirrup is a stirrup that's designed so you don't get dragged by your horse. Say in the unfortunate event you were to fall off your horse and get your foot stuck in a stirrup, a safety stirrup is designed for your foot to come out of the stirrup. So because of that, there's now quite a decent range of adult safety stirrups that have come out. And by adult, I mean for grown-ups. I don't mean the other meaning of the word adult, I mean ones for adults. And these ACAVALLO Arena Safety Stirrups are one of those adult safety stirrups. So when we hear the word safety stirrup, instantly our brains think of one of these. Can you see these with these bits of elastic on the side that are designed? So these are designed, as all safety stirrups are, to stop your foot from getting stuck and you getting dragged along by your foot. So they're basically designed for your foot to go in here, and then in case of any problems and you got dragged, this elastic here would go ba-ding and it would snap, or it would break, or it would fall off, or something would happen, and then your foot would come out of the stirrup, yeah? Well, one of the letdowns of these, there's a couple of problems with these. Number one, your elastic goes ba-ding even when you don't want it to, and invariably you then can't find it, and you have to use mum's scrunchie or something like that. And the other problem with these is a lot of people don't realise is that these have a weight limit on them. So these really are children's safety stirrups. Now I can't remember the exact limit weight thing, but I think it's about 7.5 stone. And there are not very many adults who are 7.5 stone, unfortunately. So these really are designed to be kids' stirrups. And they're brilliant, they are brilliant at their job, they do ping off, you don't get dragged so easily. On the whole, these are fairly decent stirrups. You can also get these ones called bent leg stirrups. These are classed as safety stirrups as well, sort of. So you can see here on the edge here, they've got this bend to them. And this bend means, in theory, if your foot is in here and you go to get dragged, your foot comes out the side. So this is a bent leg safety stirrup. And this here is a non-safety, normal, standard stirrup. So this is what we're going to look at today, is the Arena Safety Stirrups, and maybe compare them to a normal, non-safety stirrup. So this here is designed for riding in, obviously, but it's not designed as a safety stirrup of any sort. There's nothing on the sides that releases or moves or anything like that. It's just a bog standard, put your foot in, ride your horse kind of stirrup. Pumpkin obviously feels like she's not getting enough of the camera action, so she's just moving a little closer. If your foot was to get stuck in here and you were to get dragged, there's nothing about the stirrup that's going to solve that for you. You'd have to hope that your foot comes out. So we're going to have a look at these today. This particular box I've got here is a rose gold pair. They do come in other colours, which I will run through nearer the end. So a lot of people have heard the name ACAVALLO anyway, because it's a really well-known name in the horse industry. They've got Charlotte du Jardin on their packaging for starters, so they're pretty well known. But they're probably better known for their gel pads. So they make gel pads that go underneath the saddle, on top of the saddle, and they make lots of other things like that. The ACAVALLO name is quite synonymous. The ACAVALLO name is quite synonymous. The ACAVALLO name is quite synonymous with good quality. So when we think of ACAVALLO, we think of good quality, and these stirrups are actually no different. Now, before I get started, I want to say I'm not being paid for this. I'm not being paid to endorse them. I'm not sponsored by them. I have nothing to do with ACAVALLO as a company, other than the fact that I do buy their products. And sell their products actually sometimes. But I can say hand on heart that I have a pair of these stirrups, my son has a pair of these stirrups, and my daughter has a pair of these stirrups, because I do really like them. But anyway, that's by the by. You might not like them. Let's have a look at them and see. So first of all, they're not so interesting stuff. They come in a box. Shock horror. So let's open up this box and see what's inside. Spoiler alert, I know what's inside. I have a pair myself. So as I said, like I said before, these particular ones are the rose gold ones. And they, shock horror, come as a pair. see this little black bit on the top? That's just a bit of rubber to stop it from getting bashed about in transit. So this is the stirrup. Ooh. The camera might not be quite catching the colour, but it's a nice kind of rose goldish colour. Pumpkin, can you go in your bed, please? This is your part of the desk, that is my part of the desk. We have an agreement, you can come up if you go on your own bed. Come on, on your bed. Good girl. Lie down, good girl. So how about the ACAVALLO stirrups? So they have this aluminium stirrup, so it's an aluminium side. This particular one is rose gold, obviously, and it has this safety stirrup mechanism here, which is hinged, and it has on the bottom this cheese gratery effect. So it's a really, really wide foot base when you compare that to, for example, when you compare that to a normal one, it's almost twice as wide on the base. Can we see that? And because of that, it means you get almost twice the amount of support underneath your foot. So if you're someone that suffers from sore ankles or sore knees, this extra wide foot base is really good because it stops so much pressure going through the ball of your foot. It distributes the pressure a little bit wider, I guess. It's also got this real cheese gratery effect. So because it's like you literally could grate the cheese on there. It's almost actually quite sharp. So that wide base with that cheese gratery effect means that your foot has A, a really broad place to sit, and B, a really grippy place to sit. So you have all that breadth there, like it's so broad and it's so grippy that once you've got your foot in a stirrup base like this, you can't really go anywhere. It's kind of stuck. So if you're anything like, for example, my daughter, who likes to ride her entire foot through the stirrup and about half her ankle half sometimes, and you're always saying to her, put your foot back, put your foot back, put it on the ball of your foot, put it on the ball of your foot. She has a pair of these and she can't get her foot. Well, her foot doesn't slip all the way through quite so easily because she's got all of this grip and all of this width here. So the safety mechanism here. So number one is they are a complete, and you see that there's a complete line the whole way through here. There's no gaps there. So some stirrups have gaps that you can get like your reins caught in or your stirrup leathers or your laces or something. There's nothing here to get caught in because the gap is completely filled the whole way. It's not until you utilise, oh hello, hello, top of the morning to you. It's not until you utilise the safety aspect here that anything opens up in there. Can you see that? This is a very well hinged safety thing. I mean, you haven't got to put so much force in that it's not going to release, but you've got to put enough force in that it's just not going to, it's certainly not going to flap around as you're cantering up the hill. That's not going to happen. It's, you know, it's fairly firm in there, but it's enough that if your leg was to get stuck, your foot would easily come out. So when you combine that really wide base with that extra super duper safety thing there, that's good. Now, did you notice that when I did this, it opens up here? So it hinges here from the bottom like this. So this one hinges like here from the bottom like this, whereas some safety stirrups hinge from the top. Now, I personally think if your foot is stuck in the stirrup and you get dragged, you don't suddenly float up to the sky, do you? You get dragged and you end up kind of going down. So I always think that the ones who open here, I always think you'd have to be falling off upwards for them to release, whereas this one you fall off downwards and it releases. So this releases at the bottom, not at the top. It's obviously a question of personal choice, but I personally think that ones released at the bottom are safer than the ones that release at the top, because in essence their whole job is to stop you from being dragged, and you're going to be dragged on the floor, you're not going to be dragged in the sky. Unless your horse was, I don't know, upside down at the time. No, even then. Yeah, so these work better if you fall off that way and not if you fall off that way. So hopefully that makes sense. What I'm saying is that it opens at the bottom here, and it springs back straight away. So it's not like a elastic one that pings off and you lose your band and then you have to stop and put it back on or pick it up out of the dirt or go and find it, or invariably not borrow your mum's favourite scrunchie. True story, happened to my daughter once. So instantaneously it does its job and then you're back again ready for action. So yeah, so this nice wide plate is also, can you see, so this is the back of the stirrup and this is the front of the stirrup. There's also more base plate here at the back than there is at the front. Can we see that? And that means you get a little bit more support because you don't want a ton of support over the front of your boots. You get the support over that ball of your foot. And that kind of encourages your foot to be in the right position. I hear a lot of people that have these and who swear that they help with like sore hips and sore ankles and sore knees. So I presume that's because of this extra wide footbed here. So it sort of stops shock going up your leg in quite the same way, I guess. So yeah, so this is the ACAVALLO Arena Safety Stirrup. This is the rose gold one, like I said. They're also available in silver, titanium, charcoal, black, brown, red. My son's got red, blue, loads of colours. The most popular colour I think is probably the charcoal or the titanium. So they look like sort of like almost like a dark grey. Or the titanium look kind of like a silvery colour. So like all ACAVALLO stuff, these are made in Italy. And I'm not just saying this because I'm half Italian, but everything in Italy is great. They're aluminium, so they're lightweight. So considering the size of this stirrup, it's pretty lightweight. So they don't bash around too much. Now the one thing that I would say negative about these, and that's having owned them myself for many years and my kids having them as well, is that if you have a really nice pair of stirrup leathers and you run it up, because it's so cheese gratery here, that when you fold the stirrup leathers back through here, it can really scratch the leather. So it's not recommended to run your stirrups up and pull them through, unless you have one like the stirrup protectors. Have you seen like the stirrup bags that you can put on? So they're really good because you can get them with like a hole in the middle and then you push your stirrup leather through it. Or, now here's a quick tip, a oven glove. So a double-ended oven glove. If you put it over the top of your saddle, like where a rider would sit, and you can pop your stirrups in the little holes where your hands should sit, and that protects your saddle, because you should always try and protect your saddle against your stirrups anyway. That protects your saddle against your stirrups, and it protects your stirrup leathers against the scratchiness, cheese grateriness of this stirrup. So these stirrups cost between about 110 and 120 pounds. Now there are two groups of people when I say that price. There's one group of people that faint because they've only ever spent £28.99 on a pair of basic stirrups, and that's fine. You know, there is a big difference in the price of a very basic stirrup and one of these. There's also the group of people that go, really? Is that all? Because they're people that spend £400 on stirrups. So they are, for actually, I think for what they are, they're very well priced. They are absolutely, in terms of like these funky adult safety stirrups with these really wide bases, they're nowhere near being classed as expensive. But when you compare them to, for example, them bad boys, then they are obviously more expensive. So yeah, they retail between about 110 and 120 pounds ish. You can get them anywhere really much on the internet. Just search for ACAVALLO Arena Safety Stirrups. The obvious places are obviously direct from Horse Health, because Horse Health are their distributors. We sell them at Kiwi Saddlery. Loads of people sell them. They're brilliant. So have a search around, find the best price, because they're very, very good. Now, as with all things ACAVALLO, other companies will be and are making copies of them. But please remember that unless it has ACAVALLO written on the box, it's not an ACAVALLO stirrup. They are the one and only. Personally, I have brown on my saddle, but just look at these rose gold ones. I think I might get some rose gold. Unless they start doing pink. If they start to do pink, I might have a pink one. Not that I like pink, obviously. Anyway, I hope that helped. I hope it was useful to you at all. If you've got any questions or comments or anything like that, then give me a shout, because it's quite late at night and I may have forgotten to say stuff. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and notification bell push and all of that kind of malarkey, because, well, it's lockdown and I could do this with cheering up. So please take care, stay safe, everybody out there. Please stay safe, spread the love, and lots of love, and I'll see you really soon.